we have another great guest for you guys today. We have Peter Saddington with us. He is a venture capitalist and also the founder of the Collegiate Racing Series and Bitcoin Race Team USA. Appreciate you being here, Peter.
Thanks so much, Jake. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely, dude. So your audience probably doesn't know me and vice versa. So I think it'd be great for everybody that's on my side if you gave a little bit of background about yourself and kind of how you got into the position that you currently find yourself.
Perfect. Well, we'll make it snappy. Late '90s, I worked with Johnson & Johnson as an engineer, quit my job, and then decided to roll my own. I had an awesome opportunity and blessed to have my first startup be acquired after a 9.5 year, 10-year grind. And then after that, I became your usual trope. I rolled it into three venture funds and raised over $40 million over the last decade. And our third venture fund is a $16 million venture fund, and we focused on Bitcoin, AI, and Web3 investments. And so, as you can probably see from my background, I have a genetic disorder of racing. Speed never killed anyone, just the sudden stop at the end. And so a lot of my Web3 investments are in the Bitcoin and the racing world. So I love racing, I love Bitcoin, I love Web3, I love AI. And so I'm blessed to be able to be a capital deployer in these particular industries.
That's a really cool convergence. I can just think of all the different, again, nerding out with you. There's so many different applications for blockchain and AI in that relative industry, right? And then you also have, I can think of a lot of marketing and advertising benefit there. There's just so many ways we could take it. Where do you think is the best
Well,
option?
let's just think about AI. It's, I have been a constructor for my son's kart racing team for the last 6 years, privateer, and now he's finally moving into ProSpec Miata. And I'll tell you this, when it comes to racing, it is still ridiculously analog. I still have to fill out paper and pen, like tech sheets, waivers, sign-in sheets, sign up for the day, tech, et cetera, et cetera. Like it's still all paper and pencil. And so one of the things that for me as an engineer and investor, what I've begun building out over the last 3 years since 2022, when we really got into AI, is I started creating my own models for data, for racing, for go-karting. As we have moved into ProSpec Miata racing, I'm moving into AI and data there because a racetrack is a known entity. Or a kart is a known entity. The only variables are weather conditions, right? Humidity, right? Tire temperatures, track temperatures, like those are the variables that we can plug in. However, everything else is relatively known, right? The cart chassis weighs this much. Here's the weight. Here's the specs. Here's the engine size. Here's the weight capacity. A lot of this is known. And so with a combination of the known in racing with the known unknowns, we know what those variables are, right? Weather, track conditions, etc. We can plug those into really sophisticated models in AI and be able to create, let's just say, outputs or data that is actionable, that is directionally correct, not precise,
Right.
but directionally correct. And so the racing world is being changed by AI and Bitcoin all over the place. So for those that don't know, it's certainly invading that space as well.
Yeah, I can only imagine, kind of where it goes. But yeah, you have all these fixed and dynamic variables. And if you had a database and algorithms that could run across that, and let's say you had that data on a blockchain,
Oh,
uh,
brother, we're going there, right? And that actually that's one of our investments in a company called Garage ID. It's a Web3 platform. Just imagine the Amazon for race car drivers. So as a race car driver, you can connect to any type of race series you want, right? We have if you're into sports car racing, for example, and let's say you follow a Sebastian Bourdais. He's one of the IMSA pro drivers who drives their LMP2 cars. He drives their LMDH prototype cars. He also drives GT3 cars, but he also drives ProSpec Miata. He also drives WEC out in Europe. He also drives all these other series as well. And so what you have a driver who's spread out across five different siloed data systems, essentially racing series. Well, why don't we combine all of those into one place like an Amazon? It's called Garage ID. And this driver can now be able to connect to any of those race series and have provenance, have a blockchain ledger is able to follow who is this driver, who are they racing for, what are they racing, what is their real ranking over many different series, many different years. And so blockchain enables this company, Garage ID, to be able to track, to be able to connect drivers and racers to racing series and be able to have that on an immutable ledger that allows true transparency around the driver's capabilities, their skills, et cetera, et cetera. So really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's all. Well, it's connecting siloed systems, right? With an immutable ledger or accounting mechanism that allows that data to pass back and forth, and then it's verifiable
Yeah,
between all those counterparties.
absolutely.
And then you get some really cool rankings like you're talking about where you can see, who's because I'm sure that there's dynamics across all of those and variables that are different, right? And so you might be proficient in one area and be like the best in this league, but if you were taken out of those conditions and put in something else, are you really the best driver overall? Right?
Brother,
Like,
you got it. Actually, one of the conversations that I really enjoyed having with the founders is about the ranking systems. Because what better way to inflame the world than to actually have a true ranking system of, let's say, a Max Verstappen and be able to say, Max Verstappen, dollar for dollar, hit for hit, track by track, series by series, over the lifetime of all of his data, he's like number one. If you were to say that with axiomatic, data, you'd say this is what it is. The world would go in flames. They'd say, no, 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 this NASCAR driver is so much better. Plow is so much better. Or, this race car. Well, right now, we don't have the ability to actually know that
okay,
because all the data is in different places. Well, what Garage ID, and this was the meme or the joke that we were talking about internally, is like once they are able to do this effectively with a huge amount of these different series all combined, they're going to be able to flame Reddit and make the world just like super pissed off by saying, look, guys, this is the best race car driver in the world, and have everyone go, no way, no way.
a huge amount of engagement. So that
Oh,
that kind of leads to like the marketing and the visibility, right? So there's a ton of aspects on that side. I can imagine. Well, when we were off camera, you talked about the collegiate racing series,
yes,
and
actually,
so
that's a great tie-in. We'll talk about that. One of the series so Garage ID hosts racing series. So they host Miata, they host a FARA USA, all of the Florida Association of Racing down south, in the southeast. And they also host the Collegiate Racing Series, which is another investment that we've made as a venture fund. And the Collegiate Racing Series is the best. It's the best, one of the best investments I've ever made. Like, I'm just super excited. Now, I'm highly biased, as you can see from my
well, yeah,
background, but,
but I would agree with you. Like, it's super cool.
oh, I mean, and we were talking about this off camera, and what I said to you was, have you ever seen 30, 50 university schools racing wheel to wheel at Daytona? And you were like, no, but that's cool. And I was like, that's exactly what it is. These amazing founders have put together and spent the time over the last 2 years growing a global audience of over 600 schools worldwide that are interested in building their first race team and motorsports program. In America, I think it's this week, it's 31 or 32 schools in America are currently using the Collegiate Racing Series curriculum to build their race teams and their motorsports programs. Clemson, and I just have to say this because I'm super excited about it. Clemson is the first university to take the entire stack of the Collegiate Racing Series curriculum, guides, and their sanctioning oversight. So Clemson has created the Clemson racing team using the CRS curriculum, of over 60 members in their race team. They're the first to accredit the Collegiate Racing Series curriculum as university classes. So now if you're a student at the University of Clemson, engineering, bachelor's of engineering in automotive science, you have to take 2 semesters of this Collegiate Racing
Well,
Series
that's
program.
cool, dude.
So cool. So cool. And they have licensed drivers that have gone through the Collegiate Racing Series. So now these students, undergraduate students, now have a competition license to race wheel to wheel in ProSpec Miata cars because Collegiate Racing Series is deeply partnered with Mazda, and they signed that deal 2 months ago. And Mazda is now outfitting. You understand the value, right?
Yeah,
If Mazda gives Miatas to all of these schools all over the world, guess what? They're racing on ESPN. Miatas.
exactly.
So we love our partnership with Mazda. We love what they've done. We're over 31 schools, 32 schools now. Clemson's our kind of best use case. They're the first one that's going to have a full motorsports program, university degree, undergraduate master's degree, and they're also going to be the first ones to be ready for the 2026 inaugural season of the Collegiate Racing Series, racing wheel to wheel with other universities like Florida State, Georgia Tech, University of Miami, UF, Clemson, I said, Rankin, Tulane, right, all over. So we're really excited to have something that, and for me as an investor and also operator and lover of racing, I went to Florida State back in the late '90s, right? So for
Alma
me,
mater, like, you better take it. Yeah.
bro, I would have loved 25 years ago to have a Florida State race team that, and, I played intramural soccer, but I would have loved to join the if they had that back then. So it's so awesome that this new collegiate sport called racing is finally coming. We've had SEC football, we've had NCAA basketball. It's time for a CRS, a Collegiate Racing Series, where we're watching these awesome students drive wheel to wheel. So cool, right?
Do you think that F1 has had any influence on people's perception of racing and why the timing of this is so relevant?
Oh, brother, you know, you know this as an investor and operator and entrepreneur yourself. Timing is the one thing that you cannot manufacture,
Right.
right? Right. And it's we have to thank the heavens. We have to thank the stars that the timing of certain macro level, meta level events transpire so that our idea that has been germinated during that time has the wind
You need to have
behind its back to actually grow.
you gotta have
So I
intelligence.
I cannot sleep on and not give enough gratitude towards the timing of F1, Netflix, right? Drive to Survive, which has grown. We have Amazon's First to Finish, which is Mazda's docu-series. Collegiate Racing Series just had the star of that docu-series, Sally Mott, who's a professional race car driver for the MX5 Cup in IMSA. She was just at the webinar yesterday, 24 hours ago, for the Collegiate Racing Series
There you
and
go.
meeting all of the students all over the world who are building motorsports programs through their schools. Um, and so you have Drive to Survive, you got First to Finish, Amazon docuseries, you got Ford versus Ferrari, you got all of this car content, racing content growing, and also the Forrester reports. Let's be honest, let's do our diligence, right? The Forrester reports tell us clearly that this is the largest growth of racing technology, and racing innovation from go-karting all the way up to professional driving in F1 that we've ever seen in history. It's gonna be like a 17% growth year over year for the next 7 years or so, if I remember the Forrester. I have to do this research as a venture capitalist. I have to know these things. So this was a great timely investment for us in Garage ID and the Collegiate Racing Series. And so it's just been really great to be able to do what I love as an investor, but also be deeply participatory in the investments as well.
That's fantastic, dude. Well, it's awesome when your passions and your expertise and your like, what you were put here to do can all culminate and the timing's right around something, like, that's when you get those huge tailwinds and that upside on stuff, and it's fun while you're doing it. It's not that grind that you talk about, but it's still the grind, don't get me wrong, like,
I was
it's
about to,
it's
I was
still
gonna say,
nutty,
hey, don't
but
wait, cap,
but you're you wake up excited for the grind,
brother.
and
I wake up with a smile all the time because I get to have great conversations with people like you every day. I think you're like my sixth or seventh call today. But all of my calls are about Bitcoin, about racing, and about AI and technology. Like, It is, and on the weekends, I'm out on the racetrack with my son racing
Really?
go-karts or cars and yeah, doing the thing. And so, I won't lie, living the dream, loving it. There's so much money to be made in the technology, Bitcoin, racing, and AI world, that savvy investors, they not sleep on these arenas, these
Yeah, for
opportunities.
sure. Well, so on that, are you gonna do another venture fund? Like, how would if somebody says, "Okay, I really like this. This is awesome. I wanna participate in some way." How does that work? How do they do that?
Well, that's actually oh, I didn't know you were gonna ask me that question. But that question is well, the question is I feel like you're reaching into my gut a little bit here, Jake, because I literally 2 of the conversations I had today were with individuals who are like, "Peter, you just finished your 3rd fund. It's been fully deployed. It's just all about sustainment, support, getting on to the next round, et cetera, et cetera. We all know the game." And 2 of these conversations today, Jake, were individuals who approached me who said, "Hey, let's build build the next fund around AI, Bitcoin, Web3, and Web3." And obviously, we're already invested in those arenas, and so for me to create another vintage and to roll into that would be no sweat off my back. The question is whether I really want to work that hard.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, I mean, the opportunity is ripe. AI is growing like gangbusters. Bitcoin is on a tear. New technology from the Bitcoin digital currency space is just growing like gangbusters. We've seen the recent advances from Circle. We've seen the recent advancements from Coinbase. Gemini just rolled out their new cashback, which is amazing. A lot of the students that are in the Collegiate Racing Series actually are hooking into Gemini because of the cashback on the Bitcoin cashback on their cards. Like there's significant innovation in all of the aspects of AI, Bitcoin, and Web3, and so it's a good time to maybe raise another fund. Maybe you're the third. Things have to come in
Step
threes,
3.
right?
Yeah.
So I had two conversations. You're my third conversation where it's like, dadgummit, is the matrix kind of downloading into me and telling me it's time to raise my fourth fund? Maybe it's time, Jake. Maybe it's time.
Well, I mean, so you got 2026, the Collegiate Series. I just with the proliferation of all of the things we're discussing here and so many people wanting to advertise,
Oh,
they're like so that's another layer on this, right? Like, you have the fund, you can raise the money for these companies, and then maybe there's a piece of that where you say, "Hey, well, any money we deploy with you guys, you're gonna divert a portion of that over here to the marketing on the cars."
Absolutely. Well, actually, that's a great segue. So I run the Bitcoin Race Team USA, and that is the official 501(c)(3) nonprofit, which is great for businesses. It's the nonprofit entity, and I'll tell you the genesis of this. So, being a primary investor, one of the biggest investors in the Collegiate Racing Series, very proud of that. This is a legacy thing, my brother. For me, I mean, when I'm long and dead, people are gonna be like, 200 years from now, Jake, people are gonna look up on Wikipedia or whatever
Who was the guy that yeah.
who's the guys who built college racing, right? It's like Googling right now, who built SEC, who built the NCAA, right? Well, you can find them, and I that for me is big deal.
That's
Like
cool.
for me to be able to say, hey, I helped build a collegiate sport that's never been built before, something I would have loved to have 2 decades ago. And to have my fingerprint, at least my fingerprint on that
Yeah.
means a lot to me. And so to be a big investor, one of the first investor money in, is a big deal for me. But as Collegiate Racing Series is the sanctioning body of motorsports for colleges, just like the SEC and the NCAA don't have teams, like, CRS can't have a race team, right? All the race teams are the schools and the universities. And so for me, I was like, well, let me donate my race team, the Bitcoin Race Team USA, as the marketing arm and mechanism for sponsorship and donations, right? Because it's a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. And that money can go to the Bitcoin Race Team, but also funnel into the collegiate racing series that is so close to my heart. And so this allows for funding mechanisms for businesses, companies. I'll just tell you one of our headliners, CleanSpark. CleanSpark is one of the largest Bitcoin miners in America. They're on the front panel of the ProSpec Miata Bitcoin car.
Oh,
And
wow.
so they understand that, Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining education is really important. They have access to all of these schools and all these students. They have access to myself, who built the curriculum. So when we cover crypto and crypto financing and Bitcoin financing, then we're going to be which is a great place to look at education on Bitcoin mining, right? And Bitcoin, the Bitcoin race team as a 501(c)(3, it really is a marketing arm for companies to say, hey, I support Bitcoin, I support racing, I support students in education, and I want to have my logo on these amazing billboards on ESPN in the future. So, yeah, that's Bitcoin racing is kind of the gateway to being on all of these student cars that are going to be racing wheel to wheel. And the first time they're going to be doing it is in like 2 weeks in Miami Homestead 250, August 8, 9, and 10. We're going to have several of the students who went through the competition school, the entire Collegiate Racing Series program, got their competition license. Now they're sealing the deal, and they're racing it in their first pro race in 2 weeks. How exciting is that, Jake? How cool is that?
That is wild, dude. I I never would have that didn't even dawn on me that, colleges did not have race teams, but
If you're a junior in college and you love racing, your university should have a team. And I say this kind of axiomatically, but your university should have a team that says, "Yeah, we got a car. We can put you on track. Here's a safe way to do it. Here's our partners that make sure it's safe." Like this is not a hard thing to do, Jake, right? I mean, we've put billions of dollars into
yeah,
football. Like we know how to do that.
yeah.
So, to have all these schools in America and beyond have race teams is a known entity. It can be done. And so these amazing humans, Center Smith, and Jack Hobbs, put this amazing company together, this amazing collegiate racing series together. They've executed on it well, and they're doing the thing, and we're finally having students race wheel to wheel. How cool is
Do
that?
do you think that, so now we've got some payment to collegiate athletes on the football side. Do you think that that'll kind of happen over here on the racing side as well?
You are well into the sports game. Yes, it's called the House Resolution. So the House Resolution just passed 3.5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and that says that $20.5 million from all universities that support sports or varsity sports have to divest that into student athletes, which has completely changed the game, Jake. I think, as you well know, now the name, image, likeness. That's where we're going, right? Name, image, likeness game is going to be really it's going to really change the sports game, right? Because now instead of having agents show up at sports events or combines or the major events to scout for student athletes, now every student athlete has an opportunity to have funding come to them so that they can play the sport they love. So to answer your question shortly, absolutely. The Collegiate Racing Series needs to be part of that name, image, likeness, house resolution, and the changes to sports regulation and sports oversight as it continues to shift and change into this new world. So absolutely, I would love some of that money to help build these varsity motorsports and race teams for all these universities. That would be awesome.
But yeah, I think you're gonna get it. So but
Well,
mm,
we are the sanctioning body, so, I mean, no one else is doing it, right? So,
yeah,
if we do it well, then yeah, we'll be able to bless these students with funding to go racing and to lower the
racer
costs even
dream.
more, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
so yeah, I think you're just gonna see so much more competition come in on this side too. If it's at the college level, I mean, because okay, and you could probably answer this better than me. If you're scouting for drivers at the professional level, like I don't even know how that works. Like,
Right.
what's the progression? So your son's, driving the Miatas now. Like, is he on the path to what would become a professional driver later? Like, is that the
Yes.
traditional side?
Well, that's the thing. What you've just asked is the question that most all dads ask when their sons or their daughters are interested in racing. What the heck is the ladder? We know what the ladder looks like for basketball, football, soccer. We know what the camps, the sleepaway camps look like, the
Yep.
combines, the training camps. Like you know what to go to give your son or daughter the best chance at being scouted, getting the best coaching, getting the best, fundamentals, getting the best nutritionists. Like this is an unknown. The racing world, there's never been a codified program. This is what the Collegiate Racing Series guys have built. It's over 2,000 pages of the entire motorsports world of how to get into racing. The Collegiate Racing Series JP junior program covers the 5-year-old to 12-year-old. What do you do if you're interested in racing there? Well, you have karts, you have quarter midgets, right? You have dirt tracks, right? Here's everything that you need to know so you don't overspend in, cadet chassis or kid chassis or an LO206 4-stroke versus a mini Swift 2-stroke. Like they've created the entire Bible for students who are interested from the 5 and 6 years old to 12, and then from the 12 to 25, that's the official Collegiate Racing Series program. So everything that you're asking, they've codified. And so check out drivecrs.com. That's where you can get connected and learn about it. But yeah, they have all the answers to how to get into racing, and as they continue to grow with relationships with Mazda and other OEMs and factories and companies and peripheral entities in the racing world, they're lowering the cost of racing even more and giving even more access to students in the motorsports world, from job placement to internships to opportunities. And that's like the big give education part of this, is that not only do we get kids out on the track racing, but we give kids a good motorsports education, number one, and number two, we give them opportunities to apply their education in the real world, because job placement is absolutely essential.
Dude, this is fantastic. Max, my business partner, was nice enough to make the intro here, and like, I didn't know what this would turn into, but this is really cool.
He's a good guy. We've been following each other for a long time on the socials, man. So he's a good guy.
Yeah, anyway, super excited. So if anybody that's watching this, if you guys want to participate in some capacity, it sounds like you can do that through the nonprofit that you guys have.
For sure.
So you make donations there, or if you are a business and you want to sponsor this and have some visibility, I don't know what demographic of people you'd be reaching, on the collegiate racing series, but I'm sure,
How
you
about
could figure that out.
how about hundreds of millions of viewers on stream, TV, sports? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's going out to the entire sports. Let's put it this way, Jake. SEC football is a $1.2 billion a year industry for colleges and universities that are in the SEC, right? That's just the SEC.
right,
Racing is gonna be a 2 order of magnitudes. It's gonna be like 20 billion a year. Because I mean, racing, everything's expensive.
right.
Right? It's not just a pigskin and cleats, right? And pads. And so, from a donor perspective for these universities, from a alumni investment perspective, from an alumni network, from a sponsorship perspective, from an advertising perspective, these universities will make money just like they make money on their football programs, and they're have the potential, in my eyes, easily to make even more money from their racing programs than their football programs. It's because of the unit economics
Right.
of cost. And so we're really excited that a lot of these schools that we are working with and helping them grow their motorsports program understand the unit economic value. It's like, dude, if we build a motorsports program, we can make lots of money. We can untap donors. We can tap donors. We can break into new markets, alumni networks. There are high net worth individuals, amazing humans that have graduated from amazing universities and never given their universities any money because they don't like college football, they don't like college soccer or swimming or tennis or basketball, whatever, baseball, whatever. They love racing. These are the ones that are coming to me,
Yeah.
and they're calling me and they're hitting me up and they're saying, Peter, we heard that about this college racing thing. I've never given a cent to University of Miami, but if I gave them $1 million, would that make sure that their race team? Because I love racing, right? It's like, yes, yes. Let's make sure that University of Miami has the best facilities to support an amazing race team. Let's make it happen, brother. We can put your money to work.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I'm sure that there'll be people to watch this that have that passion and definitely want to support in what you're doing. And if you raise that third fund or fourth fund, excuse me,
Let
uh,
me know.
yeah, let me know, because I guarantee you there's definitely going to be some people on our side. Um, Anything that you want to finish up with that you're more excited about, or on the horizon that you're looking to, that you want to share with people?
Well, I can only be excited about that which I know. And the 3 areas of deep knowledge that I have is in Bitcoin, AI, and the racing world, right? Like those 3 things I know really well, and I'm learning even more every single day. And those are the 3 areas of divestment and investment that I'm spending majority of my time in. And like you talked about in the beginning of this conversation, it's good to invest in areas of confidence, right? Um, I'm not a wise man in a lot of areas of life, but I love AI, I love Bitcoin, I love deep tech, and racing is just something that I've been doing for I'm in my mid-40s now, so, you can ask me about my skincare regimen later.
I was
But,
actually gonna say.
yeah, I know, right? Totally, totally, you were gonna ask that. But yeah, I mean, racing's through my blood, so it's just something that always comes with the territory, and I'm blessed to be able to do all of that together.
I love that, man. Yeah, a lot of the families that we work with, they've generated significant amount of wealth for themselves through an exit or investments in specific assets, and they tend to double down, right? Like you just talked about, your area of competency is your edge. It's your niche. It's where you have an advantage. And so if you're able to deploy capital there and you know that better than anything else, then, you can continue to do really well in that area.
That is very wise counsel, sir. That
Yeah.
is very wise counsel. The one of the biggest fallacies of the younger educational track is your teachers will say, "Oh, you got A's in all of this, but you're bad in math. So focus." No, 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 no. Don't focus on math. You're always going to be bad at math, brother. Okay, just don't worry about that. Right? Focus
Pay
on your
somebody else to do the math, you know?
exactly, and now we have AI, so you never have to math anything, right? So focus on your core competencies, what you're great at, and that I think truly is where the greatest fruits lie.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, thank you again for coming on and sharing your time with us. Hopefully, you guys found out value in this. We'll have Peter's links in the down bar below. Anywhere that you want to share that they can reach out to you.
No, you can check me out at, bitcoinracing.us or drivecrs.com. Those are the 2 places that, the investments that we've talked about today.
Yeah.
You can obviously Google me, Peter Saddington on the Googles. You'll probably find a Bitcoin Lambo, if you do though, because I was the meme. I was that guy
That's
that,
awesome.
to buy the world's first Lamborghini Huracan with Bitcoin. So you'll find those articles if you look me up.
I love that, dude. Well, thank you again for being here. Thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you guys on the next one.